Greetings, hope you're doing well. Today I'm doing a quick review of the newest album from Angel Olsen titled Whole New Mess. Coming off of her previous album All Mirrors, which came out at the end of last year, it was met with a lot of critical and fan acclaim for its beautiful, dreamy chamber pop aesthetic with a lot of grand and lush instrumentation paired with her songwriting chops, made for a pretty remarkable album in my opinion. So it is surprising to see another album come out so quickly from Olsen, and on Whole New Mess, this album is much more stripped back and bare than any of her past material. The sound of this album is very minimal. There's barely any kind of embellishment or musical decorations of any kind on the tracks, as they are mostly made up of lunar lace guitars and Angel's voice that sounds like it is echoing through a forest. And this sound is encapsulated in this moonlit miasma that is very alluring, to say the least. As for the track list, about more than half of the tracks on this album are new simplified renditions of songs off of All Mirrors. So with this musically frugal approach in mind, the result is an album with a ton of slow burn, and for the most part it works pretty well. Songs like the title track and Too Easy are turtle pace tracks that pace themselves pretty well. Meanwhile, tracks like We're All Mirrors and Impasse have more direct, gloomingly energetic auras about them to make them stand out as more eventful tracks. Angel's vocal performances on these tracks are great. She's able to shift between tones of yearning and tones of longing with immaculate range to help characterize these tracks. Though for me, there were a handful of tracks that didn't click with me, mostly because of how sodden and idle they were. Songs like New Love Cassette, Waving Smiling, and Tonight were tracks that had grueling pacing, which I know is a weird critique considering I mentioned that turtling pace earlier, but with those tracks, to me it felt like they were actually going somewhere. Whereas these ones were so stagnant in comparison, especially with the mumbled crooning that New Love Cassette exhibited, it just took me out of the experience. But overall, I think it's a solid album. It isn't one of Angel's best in my opinion, but there are still some redeeming qualities about it, like the melodic undertones that get seared into your brain, the eventful progressions on some of the tracks, and great vocals as always from Angel. I recommend this album if you like Angel, or if you are just looking for some minimalist, semi-dreamy tunes. I'd give it a